As the sun begins to set on what has been a horrifying day in Uttrakhand, let's remember that over 150 people are still missing as an extensive rescue and relief operation intensifies and gathers pace in the disaster-struck portions of the state, especially in the Chamoli district.
Uttarakhand Devabhumi Matribhumi. Uttarakhand, commonly referred to as Devabhumi or land of the gods and Matrubhumi or motherland, is a region unlike any other. Namaste. My name is Aryan and I will be providing you an insight into the land that is Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand is a beautiful land of mountains and culture located in the upper northeast of India. Uttarakhand derives its name from the Sanskrit words Uttara, meaning north, and Khanda, meaning land. It is a region that is often referenced for its history and beauty in our ancient scriptures. In fact, it is believed that the great sage Vyasa wrote the Hindu epic Mahabharata in this state. Where the sky bows down in front of the Himalayas, that is Devabhumi Uttarakhand. The Himalayas are young and fragile mountains where more than 50 hydroelectric power projects in the river basins of the Bhagirathi and Alaknanda have been built. Despite the Kedarnath tragedy of 2013, which claimed more than 5,000 lives, the government has launched a massive project to widen routes along the Chardham, Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath, Badrinath route, increasing tourism and uncontrolled development of hotels, shops, and other tourist infrastructures. Thousands of trees have been cut down and the ecosystem has been disturbed. Many green valleys now look barren. It is key for us to find a balance to ensure the protection of this land and its people's livelihood.
This is Akshayaa and today I am going to be talking about the glacial flood and debris occurred in Uttarakhand. The glacial flood and debris occurred in the Chamoli district on February 7, 2021 in the form of an avalanche washed away bridges connecting dozens of villages, 2 power projects, along with the people at work. We also saw in 2013, such processes can trigger much bigger disaster and cause massive destruction. This sudden flood in the middle of the day in the Dhauli Ganga, Rishi Ganga and Alaknanda rivers, all incarnately linked tributaries of the Ganga, triggered widespread panic and large-scale devastation in the high mountain areas. More than 60 people have already been confirmed dead and nearly 200 more are missing. The area is quite vast and its deep gorges and valleys are inaccessible. The removal of debris from a 180-meter long tunnel at the Tapiwin project has proved quite difficult despite the ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, NDRF, National Disaster Response Force and SDRF, the State Disaster Response Force and other agencies are doing their best to find out a solution for this destruction.
I'm Abhinav of class 10th. I'll be talking about the union budget which focuses on the disaster management. So the union budget of 2021 focuses on the heavy investment of infrastructure development such as roads, railways, hydroelectric projects, fossil fuel based projects and many of which would ignore environmental concerns. The money of infrastructure development is proposed to be raised by privatizing government assets. Attempts to revive the economy, achieve higher GDP growth without ensuring proper environmental safeguards and conserving nature will be suicidal. Climate catastrophes like glacial flood in Uttarakhand will occur more frequently and more destructively. Thank you.
This is Akash taking over from here. The budget allocation for environment and forests, on the other hand, has been slashed. The Prime Minister has called for reforestation of 26 million hectares of degraded forest land in the country by 2030 to keep up our Paris Control Accord commitment. The UNEP's emission gap reports puts our annual greenhouse gas emissions at 3.7 gigatons. We made 3 major nationally determined contribution (NDC) commitments in the Paris Accord. 1. To cut down GHG emissions by 33 to 35% by 2030 from 2005 levels. 2. To increase the share of renewable electricity to 40% by 2030, and 3. To enhance the forest cover by 2030 so as to absorb 2.53 gigatons of CO2 annually. While the country is on the track to achieving the second commitment, we have to do much more to achieve the other two.
Greetings everybody, this is Ananya Subramaniam and I will be talking about how can nationally determined contribution be achieved. The first nationally determined contribution can be achieved only by reducing fossil fuels like coal, petroleum, etc. based power projects, and this is linked to the third NDC. The more we depend on fossil fuel based economy, the more will be the greenhouse gas emissions, gases like carbon dioxide, methane, etc. To neutralize the emission, we have to grow more forests for carbon sequestration. If we do not achieve the first NDC, we will have to increase the target of the third NDC. This was all about nationally determined contribution, and now I would be talking about why is reforesting a challenge for state forest departments. The main reason for degradation of forests are forest fires, grazing, illegal cutting of trees and encroachments. It is quite a challenge for the state forest department to reforest 26 million hectares of degraded forest, as a large proportion of it, nearly 10.5 million hectares, is occupied by scheduled tribes and other traditional forest dwellers. More money should have been allocated for reforesting remaining areas in the control of forest department. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Aditya. I'm going to talk about the forest in Uttarakhand. The Union Environment and Forest Minister Prakash Javadekar quoted that biannual reports of the Forest Survey of India has said that the country has added 6,000 square kilometer of forest cover since 2014. Decoding the reports, we find, however, that natural forests are being lost and in their place are coming up horticulture crops and agroforestry and private lands, which are being counted towards the nation's forest cover. The old and diverse trees that came up in the forest naturally have larger stem volume and capture more carbon than the monoculture of young plantations that are replacing forest areas. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Ayushman and I am going to be speaking about the damage caused to the nature due to infrastructure, mining and industrial projects. Millions of trees have been sacrificed for infrastructure, mining and industrial projects which cannot even be compensated through plantations. Just like the 900-kilometer road network connecting the Char Dham in Uttarakhand, a number of other road and rail projects are in the pipeline in the Western Ghats too. Sacrificing so much of our natural forest will not even help us achieve our third NDC target. Due to so much damage caused to the nature, a rise in average temperature is inevitable, and climatic catastrophes like the Rishiganga floods will occur more often.
My name is Agnes, and today I'll be talking about what is the reason or mystery behind this disaster. One of the most foremost and obvious reasons given is global warming and pollution. And experts continue to study the cause of recent disasters and pinpoint whether it was caused by an avalanche of snow, a landslide or a glacier leak. Forest fires and the burning of a greater load of fossil fuels are to be blamed for accelerated glacier melting post-2000. From the snapshots provided, they discovered a trail of dust and dark scar on the pearl-white peaks above the flood zone with clear signs of a landslide. Desert dust from as far away as Saudi Arabia gets picked up by the winds that carry into the snowpack of the Himalayas, where it accelerates glacial warming and snowmelt.
I'm Anikya and I'll be talking about the development of agriculture in Uttrakhand. There's an inseparable relationship between agriculture, economy and environment. Like most of India, agriculture is one of the most significant sectors of the economy of Uttrakhand. Basmati rice, wheat, soya beans, groundnuts, pulses and oilseeds are the most widely grown crops. Recently, vegetables and fruits have been introduced as cash crops that are important to the food processing industry. From 2010 to 2019, wheat production has had a steady growth, while the main cash crop of the state, sugarcane, has had a production of 50,058 tons that grew to 2.72 lakhs in 2017. In Uttarakhand, about 90% of farmers used to save and use their own seeds. Nowadays, H5V seeds are being used. Since ancient times in the lowland area of the region, fields have been irrigated through diverting water from nearby streams through a channel called gulls. Nowadays, many tanks, canals and hydropower plants have been developed to help farming. In 2019, Uttarakhand government made a bid to go organic. It has passed a law which criminalizes use of chemicals in the form of fertilizers or pesticides in selected areas. The sale of chemical fertilizers is also regulated.
This is Anushka talking about the transportation of the state.
Uttarakhand is gradually developing its connectivity with all three means of transport. However, roadways still remain the best means to explore this hilly state. There is efficient road connectivity both intrastate and interstate, making it easy for people to visit Uttarakhand any time of the year, and that too very comfortably. The local transport in Uttarakhand basically depends upon state transportation, buses and shared taxis. However, in plains the rickshaw culture is still prevalent, and one may get to ride a tonga or pony on the hilly terrains. On 31st July 2020, the Patnagar airport was announced to be developed as the first international airport in Uttarakhand. Dehradun Airport, located southeast of Dehradun, was the first airport in Uttarakhand, and it provided its services domestically. Rail, being the cheapest mode of transport, is the most popular in Uttarakhand. All these modernization, though very essential for the people and for the development of tourism in Uttarakhand, has led to the depletion of the natural resources, leading to its own destruction from time to time.
This is Anagha Aryan concluding on the topic Disasters of Uttarakhand. Although Uttarakhand has seen the worst of all disasters that it could face, steps are being taken to make sure that such mishaps are averted. Some of them include increased capacity for disaster preparedness and response, improved resources for local and national institutions, a larger mandate for risk-informed programming, etc. These agencies need the remit to work across ministries to ensure that the disaster risk programming occurs at all levels. Communities are the key to preparedness and response. Not only are small communities agile and can mobilize quickly, but they can also know their own populations best. After all, Uttarakhand is a beautiful state, and preserving its beauty from the harshness of such natural disasters is our duty.